Today I want to talk about building bridges. No, this is not some kumbaya video where I ask that we all try to get along, although the world could probably use a few more of those right now. No, I'm talking about building bridges in your 3D prints. Now, I've said in the past that I work in the TV industry, and I recently got into 3D printing with the goal of being able to print and design items that will make my day job easier to do. Well, in the past 2 months, I've been amazed at how useful these printers are. In fact, I've only printed one trinket type item, and that was a test print from when I first unboxed the Ender 3 Pro. Now, don't get me wrong, these past 2 months have included a lot of frustrating moments. Can you say bed leveling? This is a collection of all the misprints, test prints, and failed prints for the first 2 months. Maybe someday I'll build a chipper, extruder, and reuse all this material. What I've learned, though, is that you can burn through a lot of material if your design calls for a ton of support material. I'll talk about support material in a moment, because that brings us to this little device right here. This is a version of my cable holder. Now, I have so many USB and HDMI type cables floating around, it's crazy. This is a cluster of spares that sit in my storage room. These are ones I don't even use because I've got so many of them. USB 2, USB 3, 3.1, Thunderbolt 2, Thunderbolt 3, HDMI, HDMI Mini. There's others that have ends I'm not even sure what they're officially called. But if I throw them out today, I will probably need them tomorrow. So I decided I was going to design a simple but practical device to hold a variety of USB cables. Something I could screw into the side of my cabinet, making the cables easy to see and grab and keep from getting tangled. I know it's not the most elaborate design and is in fact based on a patch cable holder we used to have at my previous company. But it gets the job done, and it allowed me to dive into Fusion 360 with an actual goal that I wanted to achieve. You can play at these programs all you want, but until you have a very specific end goal, you won't really have any true success. This is design 1. I incorporated screw holes at the top and hooks at the bottom. And other than that, it's basically an extruded L shape with notches cut into it for the cables. Now, this isn't a Fusion 360 design video, so I'm not going to go into any more detail about the actual design than what I've shown already. If you want to see some Fusion 360 design videos, leave me a comment and maybe that can be another video. The point of this design was that it was small enough to fit onto my printer build plate so that it could be printed in this orientation without any support material, which of course means I won't be adding to my collection of wasted plastic. Now, for some reason, both times I tried to print this model, the printer timed out just as the screw holes were starting to come in. I'm not sure why. I used Octoprint to control the printer on both of them, so for whatever reason, Octoprint timed out at that point. After the second attempt, I decided I could just drill my own holes into it, a bit lower down, and save the print. Here's the final print, jammed full of USB cables. But it seemed a bit small, and I decided if I was going to do a larger version, maybe I could avoid the screw holes altogether and make it more of a friction clamp setup that could latch onto the desk that sits beside me. Plus, as I've showed, I have more than enough cables to fill a few of these things. So I came up with this design. Larger and with the friction clamp, but when I put it on the print bed, it was too large for either of my printers. So that meant I was going to have to print it in more of a tower orientation, which meant that all these forks would now be at 90 degrees to the print bed and therefore would require support material. As you can see, there might be more support material in this section than actual fork material. And the time to print and the material used back that up. So I wondered, what about using bridges for the forks? I was taught early on in 3D printing that you can't print over empty space. You need something for the printer to draw its line onto, and that's what support material is for. But that's not strictly true. Most printers are actually quite capable of doing some amount of bridging, stringing plastic across an open area to another solid base. But how long could you reasonably expect to string? And in the case of these forks, how could you do it when they never come to a section with a solid base under them? Well, that is where selective supports come into play. What if, instead of filling all this fork material with supports, I only filled it with partial supports and bridged in between those supports? So inside Cura, I started setting up support blockers. I'm assuming most slicing programs will have this functionality, but I use Cura, so here's how it works there. You import your model, then using this button, you tell Cura to block supports from being formed in specific areas. Now, if we block out some of these areas, we can greatly minimize the amount of support material. And we're then asking the printer to build bridges between these support structures. Now, I just eyeballed how much to leave in and how much to take out, and how much seemed like a reasonable amount to try to bridge. It was a guess. In the end, this is what I ended up with. Now, the real question, would this work? Could my Ender 3 Pro successfully build these bridges? Let's send it to the printer, see what happens. As you can see, once it gets to a hole in the support, it has no problem at all bridging that gap with a line of filament. I was really impressed with the overall quality of these bridges. It's a bit hard to show as it prints, but it was almost like there was no difference between the areas that had a floor to build on and the areas that didn't. When the print was done, this is what I was left with. Looks pretty good. The support material easily snapped out, and I was left with a pretty impressive print. Smooth edges, can't tell what section used bridges and what section used supports, and it saved a ton of support material and print time. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a huge print, but with full support, it was asking for much more time. Here it is on my desk, loaded up with cables. Perfect. Exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, it doesn't look like a dog or Batman, but it's quite useful. Play around with blocking out some of those supports in your prints. Once you start down that road, you may never go back. The wasted material of supports can easily be cut in half on many of your prints. If you like what you saw, please click the like button. If not, there's a dislike button there as well. Any comments or suggestions are always welcome. And if you want to see some actual modeling videos, let me know. I'll try to do some of those. Thanks for watching.